रसानाम छन्दसामपि मंगलानां च कर्तारः वन्दे वाणी विनायकः गजाननं भूतगणाधिसेवितं कपित्थजम्बूफलसारभक्षणम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारकम् नमामि विघ्नेश्वर गणपति का पूजा घर घर उनके अद्भुत कर्म के बारे में कई कथाएं उपस्थित हैं। गणपति का स्वरूप हाथी जैसा क्यों है? इसकी एक कथा नहीं है। सतयुग की बताए गिरिजा सुत की कथा
ओम शर्करागता समायुक्तं मधुवं स्मृतोपहारा नैवेद्यं नैवेद्यं प्रतीकता अजि अय्यमानां सहस्रदेगाभि कृष्णा प्रसादि महाप्रसादि आवाहयामि आव्यामि ध्यायामि पूजयामि मा प्रेम सो राधा रानी कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय।
पवन तनय संकट हरण मंगल मूर्ति राम लखन लाई वज्र जय 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 कविसूर आयब वीर कैसे आयब वीर
बोलिए श्री दुर्गा माता की जय। हे माँ प्यारी माँ, आन परे तेरे द्वारे। हे माँ प्यारी माँ, आन परे तेरे द्वारे, आन परे तेरे द्वारे। दर्शन दे दो, आरती उतारो प्यारी माँ, प्यारे लक्ष्मी माँ। हे माँ प्यारी माँ, आन परे तेरे द्वारे, आन परे तेरे द्वारे। हाथ जोड़ तेरे द्वार खड़ा हूँ, हाथ जोड़ तेरे द्वार खड़ा हूँ। शरण तुम्हारी आन पड़ा हूँ, शंकर ध्यान लगाओ प्यारी माँ, प्यारे लक्ष्मी माँ। हे माँ प्यारी माँ, आन परे तेरे द्वारे, आन परे तेरे द्वारे। दर्शन दे दो, आरती उतारो प्यारी माँ, प्यारे लक्ष्मी माँ। हे माँ प्यारी माँ, आन परे तेरे द्वारे, आन परे तेरे द्वारे। अंत विराजित शकील का लगाओ, ब्रह्मांड वेद पढ़े तेरे द्वारे। आनन अमृत प्यारी प्यारी माँ, प्यारे लक्ष्मी माँ। हे माँ प्यारी माँ, आन परे तेरे द्वारे, आन परे तेरे द्वारे। दर्शन दे दो, आरती उतारो प्यारी माँ, प्यारे दुर्गा माँ। हे माँ प्यारी माँ, आन परे तेरे द्वारे, आन परे तेरे द्वारे, आन परे तेरे द्वारे।
कान्हा मैया जय जय अम्बे मां अम्बे मां दुर्गे
जय श्री कृष्ण। बाकी बिहारी मेरे श्याम सवरिया नंद के लाला, बाकी बिहारी मेरे श्याम सवरिया नंद के लाला, ठाकुर हमारे नटवर कान्हा कान्हा मुरली वाला, बाकी बिहारी मेरे श्याम सवरिया नंद के लाला, ठाकुर हमारे नटवर नागर कान्हा मुरली वाला।
Jai Jai Sitaram sabko, Namaste Sitaram, Assalamu Alaikum, and Sat Shri Akal, Om Sai Ram, Jai Guru Datta. Let us all please stand for opening Aarti this evening. Harihi Om Sajan Javat Samyuktam Mahinayojitam Maya Deepam Grihanade Vashyapreyokyam Timirapam Yanikani Chapapani Janmayantargitani Cha Tani Tani Vinashanti Pradakshanam Pade Pade. Let us blend our voices and sing Ramayana. Aarati Shri Ramayana Ji Ki Kirati Kalita Lalita Siyati. Aarati Shri Ramayana Ji Ki Aarati Shri Ramayana Ji Ki Kirati Kalita Lalita Siyati. Davat Brahma Dikha Muni Narada Maravik Vijnana Vichara Sukh Sankadi Se Tayaru Sharada Varni Pavan Sudaki Ratini. Aarati Shri Ramayana Ji Ki Kirati Kalita Lalita Siyati. Charahu Veda Puran Ashtadas Jahu Shastra Sab Brahman Koras Hanuman Dhan Santan Ko Sarva Saryanch Sammat Sadahi. Aarati Shri Ramayana Ji Ki Kirati Kalita Lalita Siyati. Sant Gavat Shambhu Bhavani Arhat Shambhava Muni Vijnani Vyas Yadi Kavi Kunja Bahani Agho Sundi Garuda Keti. Friends, bolo Aarati Shri Ramayana Ji Ki Kirati Kalita Lalita Siyati. Kalimal Harani Vishedas Pigi Subhagati Karan Mukti Yubahigi Valanyoga Bhavamuriya Migi Padmat Sab Vidhi Tulasi. Hari Bol. Aarati Shri Ramayana Ji Ki Aarati Shri Ramayana Ji Ki Kirati Kalita Lalita Siyati. Kirati Kalita Lalita Siyati. Kirati Kalita Lalita Siyati. Prem se bol Bhagwan Ramachandra ki jai. Let us now focus our thoughts on the beautiful murtis that are before us this evening here at the wonderful Sudama Mandir. Devotees, I'd like you to take a deep breath in. As you breathe in, you say so. And as you exhale, you say hum. So hum, I and my Father are one. We have come together this evening to glorify the name of Maryada Purushottam Bhagwan Ramachandra Ji. Tonight, as we meet as one family, let us give praise and thanks. Pratama Pujya Vinayaka, Bhagwan Shri Ganesha, the darling son of Mother Parvati and Bhagwan Shiva. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha.
Shri Saraswatye Namaha. Shri Guru Charan Kamale Namo Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Today being the Ashtami day, Friday, the 8th day after the full moon, we glorify Bhavani Shankar Ma, O Mother of this universe. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupen Samsthita Namastasye Namastasye Namo Namah. In this month of Shravan, we call upon Bholenath Bhagwan Shiva, who sits upon Mount Kailash. With the Abhaya Mudra position of his hands, he blesses us as we look up to him. Karapurgaram Karunavataram Samsara Saram Bhujagendraharam Sada Vasantam Hrudayavinde Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. Pavanaputta Hanuman Ji, we call upon you now, the God of strength. Glorify us, O Lord. Remove all sicknesses that are plaguing this planet today. Atulita Balidhamam Ema Shenavadeham Tanujavana Krishanum Jnaninam Antaranyam Sakala Gunanidhanam Vanaramadhisham Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Bhaktijatam Namami. Vasudi Wala Mohan Muraliya Ghansham, O Bhagavan Shri Krishna, as you blow that mystical air through the Vasudi, beautiful sweet music that fills our airs with divinity, we call upon you. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanur Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharat Abhyudhanamasa Dharmasya Tadatmanam Srijamyaham Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chadushkritam Dharma Samsthar Pranathaya Sambhavami Yuge Hari Om Hari Om Hari Om. Prince of Bhagi Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Radhe Radhe. Asan lijiye, you may take your seats. Once again, Swagatam, welcome to the beautiful Sudama Mandir. As we begin this evening, we turn to the very first sloka, Shri Ramacharita, composed by Kavi Samrat Sahitya Chakravarti Goswami Tulsidas Ji. This beautiful offering to Lord Ganesha, Mother Vanya, the goddess of speech, Mother Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge and music, and of course the sage Valmiki, the original author of Ramayana. This prayer called Mangala Ashtakam. We sit upright as we chant now. Shloka number 1, chapter 1, Balkan, Ramacharita. Varnanam Artha Sanghanam Rasanam Chandasanam मंगलानां च कर्तारो वन्दे वाणी विनायकौ भवानी शंकरो वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणो याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तम् ईश्वरम् वन्दे बोधमयं नित्यं गुरुशङ्कररूपिणो यामाश्रितो हि वक्रोऽपि चन्द्रः सर्वत्र वन्दते सीताराम गुणग्राम पुण्यारण्यवृमावृणो वन्दे विशुद्ध विज्ञानो कवीश्वर कपीश्वरो प्रेम से बोलो भगवान रामचंद्र की जय। Tonight as we begin, we glorify Bhagwan Shri Ganesha Prathama Puji. This beautiful bhajan, O Ganapati Bhagwan, the darling son of Mother Parvati and Lord Ganesha, we seek your blessings, the removal of all obstacles. Tonight, whatever problems you have in your lives, whatever challenges that you may face, whatever is troublesome, place it to the feet of the elephant tusk of Vinayaka. As we sing, I want you to feel the energy, I want you to clap, I want you to sing, I want you to dance as well. Open forum tonight. Shuklam Bharadram Vishwam Shashi Varnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhai Sarva Vigano Upashantai. जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय गणपति वेद विनाशन हरि गणपति वेद विनाशन हरि गणपति वेद विनाशन हरि गणपति वेद विनाशन हरि। ओ जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय। पीतांबर सोहे हरिमल मुकुटन यमृत नाये लंबोदर पीतांबर सोहे हरिमल मुकुटन यमृत नाये गजमणि माल गले विध सोहे गजमणि माल गले विध सोहे बाल लाल में चंद्र कला गणपति वेद विनाशन हरि गणपति वेद विनाशन हरि। ओ जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय। मोदक लेत लेत जननी जब तुमक चलत मोर झनकारे मोदक लेत लेत जननी जब तुमक चलत मोर झनकारे रिद्धि सिद्धि दाओ जबर तोलावत रिद्धि सिद्धि दाओ जबर तोलावत सुर समोह लखी बोध Gajanana Swami ki. Gam Ganapataye Namaha. This evening, we now go to the feet of Guru. In the life of every Sanatanist, there exists at least two Gurus. Matrudeva Bhava, Pitrudeva Bhava. Mother is first, and of course our fathers. Many of us have spiritual gurus. Mine has gone to beyond many from, Devi will know, Pandit, the late Pandit Ramasad Tiwari, Darhi Baba. One of the greatest gurus that ever walked on this earth. Tonight, wherever your gurus are, if they've gone to the beyond, I'd like you to bow to their feet subliminally and seek the blessings, especially mother and father. Those of us whose parents are alive today, let us thank Bhagwan, count our blessings. But the greatest blessings that we can have is the blessings, firstly of our mothers and our fathers. Prem se bolo Shri Guru Maharaj ki jai. Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba gave the world, gave mankind this beautiful bhajan, his first offering to mankind. Taking the dust from the feet of the Guru is more sacred than even traveling to the four holy sites, Charodham. We sing, Manas bhajore Guru Charanam, Dostar bhav sagar taram. Guru Charanam, Dostar bhav sagar taram. Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai, 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 Satya Sai Nam, Sadguru Jai Jai, Satya Sai Nam, Sadguru Jai Jai. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namaha. Arunachal Shiva, Arunachal Shiva, Arunachal Shiva, Aruna Shiva, Arunachal Shiva, Arunachal महाराज की जय. Swagatam once again. Welcome this evening, fellow Pandits, Panditas, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, members of the Sudama Mandir Board of Directors, our beautiful audience gathered this evening here in Queens, New York, and especially our virtual audience tonight. Tonight we are broadcasting live on Bhakti TV all across the globe. My dear brother, Pandit Satyanand Maharaji, thank you very much for allowing us to share in the glories of Satsang, Ramayan Satsang, to the entire world. Tonight, being Friday night, as I mentioned before, today is the Ashtami Din, the 8th day after the moon. We glorify the Divine Mother, Bhavani Shankarma, in all her forms. Tonight, we want to do something very special. I want you to take out an imaginary ribbon. You all hear me correctly? An imaginary ribbon. And I want you to pin firstly that ribbon to the feet of Jagadambe Bhavani Shankarma. Imaginary ribbon, tied to the feet of Ma. Place it by her feet. And then take the other end of that ribbon and pin it to your hearts. Imaginary tonight. We are connecting that umbilical cord, just as though we were a babe in our mother's womb. So the Divine Mother be with us, the mother of all mothers. I want you to feel the Shakti and the energy which is already present here. She's so powerful. The energy is present. We glorify Mother this evening with this beautiful bhajan in her form as Goddess Saraswati Devi. The late Shri Pandit Nirmal Maharaj Ji always sang this bhajan before singing Ramayan Satsang. It's called the Saraswati Vandana. Devotees, the goddess of knowledge, the goddess of wisdom, the goddess of the arts, the goddess of music. We pray tonight to Saraswati Devi Ma as we ask her, give us that knowledge so that we can all learn from the beautiful scriptures provided by Bhagavan. Ya kundendu tushar har bhavla Ya shubhra vastramrita Ya vina vardand mandita kara Ya shvet padmasana Ya brahma jut shankar prabhutibhim Deve sada vandita Samarpati Saraswati Bhagavati Nishesh Jaryapaha Jai 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 Sri Saraswati Mata. Come on. Bhavani Shankar Mata ki Ambe. Your response should be Jai Jaganambe. Let's try it one more time. Ambe. Jai Jaganambe. The blessings of Bhavani Shankar Ma be upon one and all. This evening, we did have a late start, you know. A lot of preparations are required when we begin puja on the very first evening of a yagya. A lot of installations need to be done. And let me commend our Yajman this evening, Mr. Hari Prasad, Taljan, my neighbor. My next door neighbor, as a matter of fact, from Rama Trace and David, those of you who are familiar with the area. And it's so good to see all of you here at Sudama Mandir. Customarily, when we sing Ramayana, when Lord Rama left his mortal form and went back to Vaikuntha as Lord Vishnu, Hanumanji wanted to go with him. He says, Prabhu, you're my every breath. What will I do here without you? Lord Rama says, no, Hanumanji. You are to stay on this planet until the end of time and protect my devotees. Who are his devotees? All of us seated here this evening, everyone. And wherever the name of Rama is being sung, you can best assured Hanumanji is seated somewhere listening. Because to him, the name Ram kathaa, Ram Charitamanas is like honey, it's like nectar. Tonight, we join our voices, blend our voices as we sing now the 40 glorious verses of Shri Hanuman Chalisa. This composition by Goswami Tulsidas Ji, it is the most powerful form of spiritual medication there is. I repeat, the most powerful form of spiritual medication there is on this planet today is Shri Hanuman Chalisa. Whatever pains and sufferings you may have, if you know of anyone in the hospital, anyone in an ICU unit tonight, take that person's name and send the Shakti, send the energy of Mahavir Swami. Prem se bolo Pavana Putra Hanuman ki. Sing to the top of your voices, devotees. Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raju Nij Man Mukur Sudha Barmo Raghubar Vimala Jasu Jodhayak Parchari Buddhi Natanu Janiki Sumiro Pavan Kumar Bal Buddhi Vidya Deho Mohi Arahu Ganesha Vikar ओ ऐसे हमरे राम भक्त हितकारी ऐसे हमरे राम भक्त हितकारी ओ ऐसे हमरे राम भक्त हितकारी ऐसे हमरे राम भक्त हितकारी जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कबीर सतिन लोक उजागर राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमत निवार सुमति संगी अंजन वरण विराज सुरेशा आनंद कुंडल कुंडलीका आठ बात और ध्वजा विराजे काले मोह जने रोसा ऐसे हमरे राम ऐसे हमरे राम भक्त हितकारी ओ ऐसे हमरे राम प्रकाश में हल्की नाम मिलाए और पढ़ी तुम रो मंत्र की शतमान धरती पर ऐसा कर जाए युग हंसते हो निर्मल आन तेरे उदाही मधुर कर जाए प्रभु मुद्रिका में हुमाई राम गए अचल बनाए दुर्गम काल जगत के देते सुखमय अनुग्रह तुम्हारे ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ओ ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे हो गया क्या दिन सारे सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरण तुम रक्षक का हो तुम आप रखे संभालो आप दीन बलो आपके नाथ भूत साधन करने आप महावीर का नाम सुनाए नाम से रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बोला ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ओ ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम बदले ध्यान जो लाए सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा इनके काज सकल तुम सारे और मनोरथ जो कोई लाए तो अमित जीवन नवारा और प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत जियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असंग कंचन राम बोलाए ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ओ ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि दाता स्वर्गी जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पास तारा हो रघुपति के लाल तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख राम अंत काल रघुपति जाय राम हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्त ना धरहि हनुमत से ही सर्वस्व ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ओ ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ओ संकट कटे विजय सब पीरा सुनिए हनुमंत वीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो देव बनाए जो तुम्हार बात कर कोई जो मन महासुख होई जो पर हनुमान चालीसा और से साथी का वैसा तुलसी दास सदा है तेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महा जय श्री राम भारत हितकारी ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ओ ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी ओ ऐसे हमरे राम भारत हितकारी 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 पवन तनय संकट हरणम मंगलमूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुरधूप पवन सुत हनुमान की जय प्रेम से बोलो पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय Can you feel the energy? Mahavir Swami. Why is he called Mahavir? The greatest God of strength. And devotees, believe you me, when you call upon him, when you call upon him selflessly from your heart, he responds in an instant. Try it. It works. I've done it many times. He responds in an instant. Tonight, Goswami Tulsidashi tells us, in Ramayana, Satya Samagama Hari Katha Tulsi Durlavadori Sutdara or Lakshmi Papi Kevi Hoi. Our presence here tonight is not by guess. It's not because we got an invitation to show up. It's not because there was a flyer posted on Facebook. No. Swami tells us, because of our past karmas and that of our ancestors is why we are here in satsang tonight. Sat Sangha, to assemble for the truth. It was not a mistake. It was not by guess. Some of us traveled, managed to get all the way from Florida. We traveled near and far just to be here tonight, to glorify Bhagwan and to reap the benefits of Ramayan Satsang. 3 sessions of Ramayana are first. Tonight we will attempt to grasp a better understanding of some of the values that Mother Sita, the mother of this universe, the divine Shakti, as we are dealing with Shakti Devi Ma tonight, that embodiment of maternal love. And mind you, there is no one in this world who will ever love you like your mother. I don't think you could take anything or add anything to that. Mother's love is the greatest. Could you imagine the love of the divine mother, Shakti Devi Ma? She opens her arms and says, "Come, my children, come, let me protect you." And when you go before that divine mother and you go selflessly, not asking for anything in return, "Ma, I submit before you." She protects all of her children. And you know, some mothers, they say, "Well, this child is my eyeball, I like this one better." This mother likes all of her children equally. Good or bad? Yes, good or bad. When Ravan, the Rakshas in Ramayana, Ravan used to perform Mother Kali Puja, Mother Durga Puja. Mother Durga resided in Lanka to protect that scoundrel. But yes, he was a Rakshas, but you know why? When he went before Lord Shiva, he stood on one foot for days and chanted, "Om Trayambakam Yajamahi." Lord Shiva opened his eyes to look at Ravan. Because of his divine, the way that he prayed, selfless, not asking for anything in return, not making an offering to Lord Shiva. He said, "Boy, I want something in return, I want to debit." No. Lord Shiva then asked him, "What would you like as your gift? I am pleased with your penance. I am pleased with your worship." When we come before the altar, like here did this evening, it's not about the quality. It's not about the quantity. Not how much. Main fact. Patram pushpam palam toyam, Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita. It is all about the love. This mother of compassion, of devotion, she imbibed and she gave to mankind so many lessons in Ramayana tonight. But tonight, let us understand firstly, what is Ramayana? We're all invited to Ramayan Yagya. Bhaiya, you're welcome to play in the background. Come on. You're creative, you're awesome. Give him a lovely round of applause, please. What was his name? Bhai Sultan. Wonderful indeed. Thank you. Play in the background as much as you like. Tonight I'll be quoting from several renowned poets and writers, as well as from the lips of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Bhagwan Baba says the Ramayana is not just a story which happened a long time ago. It is a philosophical, spiritual guidance and filled with deep truths. The words rays and radiance comes from the Sanskrit word Ra. Ra means light. Ma means within me, in my heart. So Rama means that light within me. That which is radiant is in every single particle of Lord Rama. Radiation of light. Rama was born to the king Dashrath and Kaushalya Devi. Dashrath means 10 chariots. The 10 chariots symbolizes the 5 sense organs of action and the 5 sense organs of perception. Kaushalya, on the other hand, means skill. And the skillful rider of the 10 chariots is that mother who gave birth to Lord Rama. When the 10 are used, the 10 senses of action and the 10 senses of perception are used skillfully, radiance, we start to radiate within. Rama was born in Ayodhya. Ayodhya means a place where no war can happen. Devotees, when you would have left this yagya on Sunday morning when we finish, I would like all of you to realize that in our hearts, we call our hearts Ayodhya. No war can happen in this heart. And you see, when the day that we make our hearts Ayodhya, there will be nothing like quarrel, there will be nothing like confusion, there will be nothing like judgment, judging people, there will be nothing like negativities or the 9 negative qualities that we speak about, kama, krodha, lobha, ahankara, and so forth. Let us all make our hearts, as you have been singing and you're definitely feeling the energy. I can feel the energy within you. The positivity tonight to make our hearts Ayodhya. When there is no conflict in our minds, and then and only then, radiance will be born. The Ramayana has been described as this ideal story of Rama, the story of the ideal man, who was Rama. Was Rama a man or was he God? Anybody know the answer to this? Was he man or God? Anybody? He was God. But he took the form, this mortal form, for the destruction not only of Ravana, but to teach mankind how to live. In this holy text, Kavi Samrat Sahitya Chakravarti Goswami Tulsidas Ji, the poet of all poets, he scripted very beautifully. He says, if I were to take all of the trees in this world, in this planet, and make one big pen, and take all of the sand or the dirt in the ocean, and mix it with the waters of the 7 oceans to make an ink, it will still not be enough to write the glories of Bhagavan Shri Ram. Devotees, Valmiki, at the beginning of the Ramayana, he was swayed in his version that the ideal Rama was an ideal man. But during the course of his writing, when he was overpowered by the feeling that Rama was divinity himself, he concluded at the end of the epic that Rama was indeed the embodiment of divinity. Tulsidas Ji, on the other hand, began his Ramayana with a firm faith that Lord Rama was Lord Narayana himself. Ramayana is happening in our own bodies, devotees, with every single breath. It is said, our soul is Rama, our mind is Sita, the breath, the life force, the prana is Hanuman, and the awareness is Lakshman. And who is the ego from Ramayana? Come on. Who is the ego? Ravan. There you go. When the mind was stolen by Ravan, the ego, the soul got restless. And with the help of prana, the mind got reunited now with the soul. And then the ego vanished. The vehicle of human life, which you and I are living today, it is drawn by 2 wheels. The wheels of the senses, which are driven by the intellect. Discrimination and determination, what is right and what is wrong, and I am determined to go somewhere, are the reins of this chariot. The 2 wheels being time and action, kalahi, karmahi. And the spokes of this wheel are righteousness or dharma, bound by this rim of the wheel now, the love of prema. And the self is the rider. And it will come to no harm if the axle of truth, satyam, is used, and the goal is shanti. One writer says the name Rama is sweeter than sugar and the best of honey. It is most tasteful than dahi. And as you go on repeating the name of Rama, it becomes nectar like itself. Hence, repeat the name of Rama with all your heart and utter sincerity. We glorify him with this beautiful bhajan this evening and chant very quickly. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Ati Sundaram. You know what Ati Sundaram means? How beautiful. You see, the next time you get stuck in traffic, and boy, you have a lot of traffic here in New York City. I told Florida was bad. Instead of grumbling, instead of judging, instead of blaming, instead of taking your blood pressure up a few notches, chant Hare Rama, Hare Rama. The traffic may not move fast, but your blood pressure is going to drop and you're going to feel better. Jai Shri Ram. Tonight, devotees will begin our quest for enlightenment in Ayodhya, chapter 2, where we witness Mother Sita's steadfastness and devotion to the feet of Maryada Purushottam Shri Rama. Unconditional devotion to the feet of the Lord. And after which, we'll head to Sundarkand to learn about the defiance of the many atrocities of Ravana. Ravana tried many things on her to sway her mind. And then we'll summarize our kathaa to reflect some of the philosophical notes or values that we can take with us and put into our lives. Tonight, Goswami Tulsidas Ji composed Ramayan Sumiran, as we always sing as customary before we start Ramayana. Jo Sumirat Siddho Gananayaka. He praises again Lord Ganesha. Gananayaka Karivara Badan. Jo Sumirat Siddho Gananayaka Karivara Badana. Jo Sumirat Siddho Gananayaka Karivara Badana. Karahu Anugrahasu Buddhiras Subhaguna Sadhana. Mukha hoi vacha Anguchare girivara grahana. Jasu kripa sudaya Prabhu sakal karimana grahana. Leela saro Purushan Karunayaruna Parijanayana. Karau Sumamauradha Sada Shila Sagaya Sayana. Kundaindu Samade Kumaraman Karunayana. Jahidina Parne Kadavu Kripa Maradana Mayana. Vando Guru Padkana Sindhu Nararupa Hari Mahamoha Tamathu Jasu Vachana Ravikara Vikara. Jo Sumirat Siddho Gananayak Karivara Badana. Prem se Bhagwan Ramachandra ki Ramayana Vandana. Dheyam sada paribhavanamam abhishta doham Tirthaspadam seubiran janutam smaranyam Virdyartiham pranatapal bhavami putam Vande Mahapurushute Charanavravindam. Neela Bhujam Shamala Komalangam Sita Samaro Pitubham Bhagyam Parno Mahasayak Charuchapam Namami Ramam Raghuvansanatam. Ramayana katha Ayodhya कांड मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम भगवान रामचंद्र जी, जानकी देवी माता और लक्ष्मण जी का वनवास। भैया Yeah, use your vibraphone, please. Thank you. Doha. सिया की पिया साधु परिहरी लखनऊ की रही लखनऊ की रही नाथ मम संकट हरो हरि। प्रिय सज्जनों, भाइयों बहनों, tonight's katha takes us to the city of Ayodhya in the palace of King Dashrath. Why, you can play along with me. Play along as we're singing. As Lord Rama was about to be coronated, to be crowned the king of Ayodhya, as you know very well, Mother Saraswati played with the mind of Mantra, who instead played with the mind of Kaikeyi, and created this confusion that allowed now for Dashrath to grant the two boons that he promised to Mother Kaikeyi. Mother Sita was watching, at the entrance now, looking. She was so anxious that her Lord now is coming. He was going to be decorated, to be garlanded, to be clothed, and then to be crowned and to wear this crown to become the king of Ayodhya. Why? The auspicious hour for the coronation was fast approaching, The Pandits had checked what we call the Patra, the Nakshatra and so forth. The timing was right. It was between this time and this time that the coronation had to take place for it to be auspicious. Devotees, she had just finished her own puja, her own religious rites. And she had now a plate with sandalwood paste. What is sandalwood paste? Chandan, mala, flowers, grains, and arti, as prescribed by our scriptures, to welcome her Prabhu. Her heart began to beat fast now, in expectancy of Lord Rama's walking in his entrance to the door. All the maids and the attendants, they were overcome with joy. They were shedding tears of joy that this auspicious day that they waited for now is finally here, and Lord Rama was going to be coronated. They were waiting with lamps lined up in the doorway, beautiful lamps, diyas, waving and waiting now for Shri Ram to enter. And suddenly, Lord Rama entered, very calm, but his head was bowed like this. He was barefooted. He didn't say a word to anybody. Everyone was shocked. Mother Sita moved forward to her Lord. She could hardly believe her eyes. What's wrong with my Prabhu? He's about to be coronated. Why is he looking like this? Devotees, her body began to shiver now like a leaf in the wind. And she paused for a while and says, Prabhu, ye kya hai? What is this? What is the meaning of this? While Sita was throwing questions on Lord Rama now, Lord Rama in his mind, he could not decide how to answer so many questions. How can I break this news to her? I'm sure in our lives we have had once or twice that we had to share some bad news or negative news. Maybe some loved one passed with our loved ones. How do you break that news? You have to prepare your mind. You also have to prepare for the other person's reaction, how that person will react. Devotees, Rama said very frankly, he says, Sita, come. Reverend Father had willed and resolved at this auspicious hour, the hour of my coronation, to send me into the forest for 14 years. We all know this story very well. Mother Sita heard the words, but she could not believe what she was hearing. She said, Dashrath, Lord, what crime did you commit? What sort of punishment did you do to deserve this? What sort of action did you do? This exile into the forest that this last now for 14 years? She said, Dashrath is the embodiment of justice, of wisdom. He could never issue an order like this without legitimate reason. Devotees, Rama then smiled and says, Sita, long ago, Father promised to grant Mother Kaika 2 boons, but the promise has not been fulfilled so far. This day, she asks for them both at the same time. You see, Dashrath came from the Suryavanshi dynasty. They believed in giving. When you give your word, you stand by it. Prana jai para vachana na jai. It means that even if it means your life, if you give someone your word, you stand by it. You never turn back. Devotees, Rama, then he says, Bharat must be crowned king, Yuvraj. And second, I shall move to the forest for 14 years. You know, he says, Father is supremely righteous. He did not even for once say to Mother Sita, oh, my father is crazy. Oh, my father doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a bad man. He's favoring Bharat. Never. You know what he said instead? He says, Sita, Father has given me even a bigger kingdom, the Dandak forest, to rule for 14 years. This is Rama. This is how we should live in this world today. Do you think a child can tell a parent that? Let's park that one right there. Lord Rama continues. He says, Father is always righteous. And he never acts very hastily. He always thinks before he gives or grants his decisions. Could you imagine the tension in the palace now? Everybody became quiet. It was silent. Rama then bowed his head and he acceded. Let us see what Goswami Tulsidas tells us tonight in our very first Chopai.
Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Dinhi asisa sa sumridu Sukumari dekhiya kumani. Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Bate ginirta asoti Sita. Roop rashi pati prema kunita. Shri Rama Jaya Rama
Goswami Tulsidas writes very beautifully. Ramayana is so sweet, devotees. One can get lost in these beautiful shlokas. Chalan chahat ban जीवन नाथू केहि सुपुरीति सन होई साधु कीर्तन प्राण की केवल प्राणा विधि कर तबु कछु जय न जाना. Devotees, Sita Mata spoke words that were very powerful to the Lord, because she's at a predicament now where she has to stay back in the palace. There was no discussion about her going into the forest just yet. Lord Rama says, Janak Maharaj, master of the inner mysteries of the highest morals, is your father, Sita. King Dashrath has given his empire inherited by him for many generations to come, for Bharat and so forth to follow on. There's no need for you to point out my special duties, O Lord. I know them all. If I decide to remain here, you don't have to tell me to serve the parents, the in-laws, the sister-in-laws, and so forth. But listen to tact now, Mother Sita. She says, my Lord, when I am with you, what need is there for me to take care of the service of others? She's using her brain. I am coming with you with full joy. She didn't ask him, she's telling him, I am coming with you with full joy. For a long time, Prabhu, I had an unfulfilled desire to spend some years in the forest. She's speaking to him. She says, my good fortune now gives me the chance to satisfy the desire for the company of my Lord. She goes on to say, she fell at his feet now, held onto his feet tightly with tears in her eyes. She says, I haven't the slightest sorrow that you are not crowned today. Mataji says, I hold you dear, crowned or uncrowned. Listen carefully. I hold you dear, whether you are crowned or uncrowned, you are still my Lord. Wherever you are, that is my empire. She says, there's my treasure, there's my glory. And she pleaded on, she prayed to the Lord. Lord Rama now continues to try to sway her from accompanying him. Goswami Tulsidas now tells us in this next shloka. Let us see what he says, what happens. As the Lord begins to speak to Mataji again.
Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Nara Lord Rama tells Mother Sita, the forest life was filled with fears and dangers. He says it was infested with wild animals, while the men, demonic predators and bandits. But Mother Sita was unmoved. She replied, and listen to what she said to him now. She says, Lord, however wild those animals are, however thick and terror-striking the forest is, what harm can they cause? What injury can they inflict on me when you are at my side? In other words, devotees, have no fear when Bhagwan is here. Bhagwan Shri Satyasarava tells us very beautifully, he says, why fear when I am here? Why fear when I am here? So says Baba, Satya Sai Baba, my Lord. Why fear when I am here? Always remember this, devotees. You see, if you're in trouble, if you're in a predicament that is not good, you're about to get hurt. If you submit before the Lord, in other words, don't do this. Submit before the Lord like this. It says, Bhagwan, I am yours, I'm in your hands. When you go before the Divine Mother, Ma teri mamta kitni pyari, kitna pyar jagati hai. I submit before you with all my heart. Pour the tears out, devotees. I ask you a question tonight. When was the last time you had a conversation with your God? Don't answer me, just think about this. When was the last time you had a heart-to-heart conversation with your God? I'm not speaking about the time that you put a Diya Natali Om Tomeva Mata Chapita Tomeva. I'm speaking about a heart-to-heart conversation with God, where you held on to the murtis, the feet of the murtis, and tears began to flow from your eyes, and you washed the feet of the murti with tears of divinity, not sorrow. Bhagwan Shri Ram, Mother Sita, continues. She says, Lord, I will pick up and cast away any stone, any pebble, any thorn, to lessen the pain that is coming onto your feet as you walk barefoot, as we walk side by side, barefoot into this forest. Let me be with you, O Lord, so I may render this service and become happy. Sita, she exemplified the traits of steadfastness. I want you to remember this word through this yagya. Steadfastness. What does steadfast means? It means, like Swami Vivekananda tells us, awake, arise, and stop not until that goal has been met. Don't let anything deviate you from your goal in life. If you want to become the President of the United States, nothing should deviate you from becoming that. Devotees, Mother Sita's steadfastness, Swami Tulsidas tells us, Vyala karala bhega banaghora, nisichara nikar nari nadakora, darpati dhera gagana sudhe aaye, mrigalochana tuma brigu subhai. Her heart, her hands, and her head, they were always in sync. In other words, man krama vachan say, words, thoughts, and deeds, always in sync. What do we mean by this? She never thought something, did something else, act something else, and spoke something else. There are many people in this world like this today. Man kram, your words, your thoughts, and your deeds must always be succinct, steadfast. Unity, another topic we'll speak on it a little bit more tomorrow when we focus on Hanumanji. Unity is a trait that will allow us to rise. When I say rise, rise to what? Not to power, Unity allows us to rise as human beings, to elevate ourselves, to leave this mortal plane, and to go back home from where we have all come from, to become part and parcel of Bhagwan. Unity, remember this. This oneness, this inclusivity that we see here at Sudama Mandir, from all walks of life, from all about, and online as well, those of you joining us all over the world this evening, based on what Bhagwan practices, that is unity. Not this self-serving, convenient, popular opinions of some. Devotees, just yesterday I was having a conversation with someone. To gain friends in this world today, the trait is that we need to agree to whatever opinion that person that we are trying to befriend. If that person says the sky is black, we also have to agree that the sky is black, then we become good friends. But the minute you tell that person, no, the sky is blue, I don't want anything to do with you. Devotees, how many of us express this level of love for God with every single breath? So hum, so hum, so hum.
Narad Muni went around this world, Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. This is how we gain moksha, Nam Smaran. Shabri Ma did it. Someone who never attended a single day of school, she could not read or write, she was illiterate, but she gained moksha just by chanting the name of Rama. Devotees, when we speak of steadfastness, who else in Ramayana was steadfast? Who else? Who? Kevat. Who else? Hanumanji, steadfast. Nothing else mattered in this world except the name Ram for Hanumanji. Swami Ramdas, I quote, he says, it is fruitless to expect to go to heaven without a steadfast faith in God. He's not talking about going to church or going to Mandir once per week on a Sunday for an hour, sing a few bhajan and go on for the rest of the week. God is in the back seat. No. Every single day, every single breath. We all woke up this morning, didn't we? That in itself is a blessing. How many of us give praise and thanks? Don't need to respond. Let's think about this. How many of us give praise and thanks to Bhagwan every single day? Lord, thank you for allowing me to see the dawn of another day. Surya Narayan Bhagavan ki jai. Brothers and sisters, now let us digress a little bit now, which is Sundarkand. Mother Sita, in this part of Ramayana, was very steadfast. This is after she was kidnapped and so forth. But she was single focus on whom? Rama. Maryada Purushottam Shri Ram. She was so single focused that Ravan created with his jadoo, with his magic, with his Indrajal, he created a head of Rama, real looking head, and he had it cut, and he had blood around the head, and he brought it in a plate, in a weight, and he says, look, this is your Ram, this is the Ram you're pining about, he's dead. Mother Sita says, Ram, Ram, Bhaju Ram, Ram. That ain't my Ram. You can't fool me. She continues. Goswami Tulsidas, she tells us tonight in this next Chaupai. Let's see what he says. As I told you before, we can get lost in the beauty and sweetness of Ramayana. Ati Sundaram. Devotees, at this time, when Ravana was trying all his tricks on Mother Sita, Hanumanji was there, he was present. Remember, he was on this Ashoka tree. He made himself very small. And hiding behind the leaves now, he's looking at what was taking place. And there he saw a woman under a tree. Remember, up until this point in Ramayana, he has not met Mother Sita.
He saw this woman sitting under a tree, looking very worn out and dire need for food. She was hungry and lacking sleep. The fierce demons, the guards that were around her, were threatening her to change her mind and to break her will. And meanwhile, a grand cavalcade, them boys playing tassa and whatnot, walking out now from the palace. Who? Ravan. Ravan was making his grand entrance. And hundreds of maidens followed Ravan, and they were carrying plates filled with jewels, with sweets, mithai and so forth, beautiful flowers and presents, nice saris and silk and so forth. To do what? To try to bribe Mother Sita. And listen to this scoundrel now. Ravan now pleaded to Mother Sita. He prayed that she might offer her love to him. For what? In exchange for these material things. Devotees, don't ever fall for these tricks. He tried to extract a promise now, and threats of cruel punishment. Hanumanji heard him, and he had, encouraging now the others around him to inflict pain and injury unto Mother Sita so she can give in. And Hanumanji began to grind his teeth in anger. He says, I wish I could take him now. But that was not his mission. His mission was only to find Mother Sita. You see, steadfastness. If he had strayed from his mission, he could have created a different scene for us in Ramayana, with a battle with Ravan right there. Devotees, Mother Sita was unperturbed. Goswami Tulsidas now tells us as she begins to scold Rama. Let us see what she says.
Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Kastaman Samudru कहती जानकी भाला सुधीन रे रघुवीर मान की श्री राम जय राम साध सुने हरि आने ही मोही अधाम मिला
Mother Sita says, Asna mana samujhi kahati janaki, khala sudhi nahi raghuveer banaki, sat sune hari anehi mohi, adham neel jalaja nahi tohi. She said to Ravan, oh you fool, you vile and vicious fellow. Imagine Mother Sita, little frail, looking like she's half starved, sleepy, very tiny, speaking now to this atrocious demon Ravan. Oh you fool, Rama alone has the rights over me. No one except Rama will ever have any right over me. I shall reduce this body to ashes in the flame of sorrow in separation from my Ram. I shall never stray from my resolve. I repeat, devotees. Mother Sita says, I shall never stray from my resolve. Devotees, especially for the children tonight. If your desire is to become someone in the medical field, if your desire is to become an engineer, a pilot, a pandit even, you're going to have many obstacles in your way. Do not let anyone take you away from that path of success until the goal has been met. Mother Sita is teaching us this lesson tonight. When you have a companion like God, not even the storms and the tornadoes can harm you. much less Ravan. Believe this and beware, she's calling Ravan. She says, Hanuman started now to hear these emphatic words of Mother Sita and realized this woman is no ordinary woman, but the mother of this universe, Janaki Devi Mata, in this form of Mother Sita. His mind gained peace and calmness now when he learned of this. Devotees, a beautiful bhajan tonight. It says, when we have a companion like God, not even the storms or the tornadoes can touch you. Even if the sky moved beyond reach and the earth merged into the ocean, and even if the entire world is lost in the lapse of tornadoes, the one onward march to God, only God's friend cannot be stopped.
ओ जिसका साथी है भगवान, उसको क्या रोकेगा आंधी और तूफान। जिसका साथी है भगवान, उसको क्या रोकेगा आंधी और तूफान। जिसका साथी है भगवान। जिसके शीश पे हाथ हजारों, छू न कोई पाएगा। जिसके शीश पे हाथ हजारों, छू न कोई पाएगा। हरि नाम से ये पर्वत भी जिनका बन जाएगा, उधर मिल जाएगा। ओ जिसका साथी है भगवान, उसको क्या रोकेगा आंधी और तूफान। जिसका साथी है भगवान। गगन दूर हो जाए जमीन, चाहे सागर में धस जाए। गगन दूर हो जाए जमीन, चाहे सागर में धस जाए। तूफानों की गोद में चाहे सारा जग खो जाए, पावन रुख में पाए। जिसका साथी है भगवान, उसको क्या रोकेगा आंधी और तूफान। जिसका साथी है भगवान, जिसका साथी है भगवान, जिसका साथी है भगवान रामचंद्र की जय। Devotees, जिसका साथी है भगवान. Mother Sita, in conclusion tonight, her thoughts were on Rama. And I want you to remember this tonight. Not even a blade of grass in this world will move without the blessings of Rama. Not even a blade of grass moves without the blessing, the will of Ram. When Lord Shiva, incidentally, when Lord Shiva went into meditation and he sat on Mount Kailash in his yogic position, he closed his eyes and he would start murmuring, Mother Parvati asked him one day, Shambhu, hey, kya hai? When you're meditating, what name are you calling? Are you saying Om? What do you think he said? Ram. Lord Shiva meditated using the name Ram. Who are you and I, devotees? Ram. Use it. Powerful. Mother Sita now, she said, listen, O 10-headed monster, she calls him. O 10-headed monster. Can a lotus flower ever expand or glow brighter than the firefly? What is the firefly? How we call it, Trinidad? Lavi. Yes. Lavi. From Ramayan, you must know it's Lavi. Firefly.
A firefly, a lotus could never outshine a firefly. That's what Mother Sita is comparing Ravan to Lord Rama. She said to him, you carried me off at a time when there was no one at my side. Don't you feel ashamed? You coward. Imagine she calling Ravan a coward. Ravan's rage grew stronger, to the point now where he was about to explode with anger. Abhiman. You see, one who is Abhimani, devotees, enjoys the singing of his praises. But the minute you criticize him or you find fault, oh, you're the worst enemy. Abhiman, you see this thing called Abhiman? Burn it, destroy it, leave it right here. Devotees, egoism. By the way, what is the meaning of ego? EGO. What does the acronym stand for? Anybody know? EGO? Edge God out. You don't want to edge God out. You're in big trouble. Bring him inside. God needs to be here. Don't edge God out. And that's what happens when we develop ego. What happens when we develop ego? Our hearts, our minds becomes big. In other words, your head becomes big. And when that happens, devotees, there's no room to install God. Oh my God, take the ego out, burn it, destroy it. Instead, it's still a lotus in your heart and says, Avo Gurudev, Avo Shri Ram, Darshana De Do. Come and sit in my heart, O Lord. Devotees, egoism makes enemies of fast friends, and it ruins many good causes and projects. For it will never allow two good men to work together. Remember this. Egoism will never allow two good men to work together. It happens in all four forms of government, in all forms of leadership, in homes sometimes, families. Egoism. Grief will follow egoism like a shadow. Let me repeat. Grief follows egoism like a shadow, because when you don't get what you want, when your ego is so inflated, and somebody pokes a hole in that ego, what happens? Grief, sorrow. Where there's no ego, joy, peace and courage, cooperation, unity and love will flourish, and that is what we want. When man is aware, the same divine consciousness that motivates him is equally motivating all others. And you see the love that outs the ego in the background, it will take charge of all of our activities. As we close this evening, Ravan now, after Mother Sita made all of these statements, very strong, very heavy statements, he was stung by disappointment. Why? Because she deflated his ego. She poked a hole in his ego. She called him a 10-headed monster. Ravan thought he was the most beautiful guy, most handsome guy. He wanted to marry everybody he saw. Devotees, Goswami Tulsidas now tells us in this final doha tonight. That is what he says. Prem se bolo Bhagwan Ramachandra ki jai.
Rama
Goswami Tulsidas, she says, Mother Sita now. Ravan spoke to her in these words. He says, Sita, you have hurled me an insult. I will cut off your head with a relentless sword. Now, Ravan's sword was not just a regular straight sword. His sword was called a Simta. You know the Simta? It's shaped like a half a moon. And it had jagged edges and teeth and was always stained in blood because it's going to kill someone. Somebody got him, let's take your neck off right away. That was Ravan. His sword now, when Hanumanji is looking from this tree, was so scary. He pulled the sword out. He said, I will take your head right now. And right then his wife Mandori stepped in and says, no, Ravan, no. You cannot do that. Now is not the time. Devotees, Sita then responded. Sorry, Ravan told her, he says, I am giving you 30 days to make up your mind that you are to be my wife. You will marry me or else I'm going to take your head off. Then Mother Sita says, listen, 10-headed monster, she continues. My Lord's arm, meaning the arm of Lord Rama, is like a string of blue lotuses, and it's shapely, and it is long like the trunk of an elephant. You 10-headed monster, either that arm of my Lord or your dreadful sword will have my neck. But hear this, my solemn vow, O fool. Turning to Ravan's sword now, she says, take away, O Chandrahasa, another name for Ravan, the burning anguish of my heart that caused the fire of separation from my Lord. Take my head right now. End the separation, she's saying to him. She says, you possess a cool, sharp, good blade. Therefore, relieve the burden of my sorrow. Take me now. On hearing these words, Ravan rushed now to kill her. And Mandori again intervened and says, no. Then summoning all the demonesses, he says, I want you all to go and intimidate Sita in every way possible. Deprive her sleep, deprive her food, scare her at night. And the time will come when I will draw my sword and behead her. Devotees, Mother Sita never wilted in her steadfastness towards Bhagavan, and you and I should never do that as well. When we come before Bhagavan, we come to pray. We come with all in our hearts. In other words, people like to say, Baba, I want to do X, Y, and Z. I want to do a puja. I want to do a yagya because I need this. Or I want my son to get married to a doctor. I'm just using an example. In other words, you're making a bargain with God. God knows where, when, how much, and why, and whom. You don't have to bargain with God. You just need to go with an open hand and submit selflessly before God. Don't ask for anything, devotees. Finally tonight, Hanumanji, as we will continue in tomorrow's kathaa, Hanumanji was always like a son to Rama. And when the war was won, Hanumanji, everybody was getting rewards, and Hanumanji was very last. He was never frontish, so to speak, pardon my colloquialism. And everybody got kingdoms, they got land, jewelry, and so forth. And you know very well, Hanumanji got nothing. But then Mother Sita says, my son, how come you didn't ask for anything? Now what was his words? He says, Mom, I don't have to ask for anything. I have what I need right here. He was seated at the feet of Maryada Purushottam Shri Ram. Devotees, when we become like Hanumanji, when we become steadfast, our lives will also become pure and sanctified. Tonight, as we close this kathaa, this final bhajan tonight, it speaks of Rama. We like to glorify him. Oh man, sing the praises of Rama. Great kings of this earth vacate their kingdom, seeking the name of Rama. We roam this vast expanse of the earth, thinking that we have earned it. But we are only here for a very short time. Uselessly we think of the material things in this world, like Alexander the Great, greatest conqueror in this world. And when he died, he asked his wife to put both hands outside the coffin like this, open, so that the world can see that he left with not even a single blade of grass. Devotees, gold may appear beautiful in the body of a person, but in a moment it can be reduced to mold when heat is put on it. Brahmananda, the composer of this beautiful bhajan, he craves for the name of Rama. And only his name is able to take us across this ocean of earthly existence. So the next time, devotees, a bad thought comes into your mind, the next time you walk into a conversation where someone is passing judgment
on another human being, say to that person or that conversation, Jai Shri Ram, and walk away. You know why? Because you are participating in adharmic karma. You're taking on negative karma. Tell them Jai Sita Ram and walk away. Save yourself from pain and suffering. Devotees, a beautiful bhajan tonight as we close. I want you to put your hands together for all the musicians and singers tonight, every single one of you. Raja and Guru, Arjunji, Bhaiya, and Malaji, and Ma. I call her Ma, Auntie Esther. Mere manwa Ram bhajan jag saar. Mere manwa Ram bhajan jag saar. Mere manwa सुंदर माया फलों में हो अत्याचार कंचन जैसे सुंदर काया फलों में हो अत्याचार ब्रह्मांड करो हरि सुमिरन ब्रह्मांड करो हरि सुमिरन उठारो भव जल पार राम भजन जगसार मनवा राम भजन जगसार मनवा प्रेम से बोलो भगवान रामचंद्र की जय उमापति महादेव की जय. My dear brothers and sisters, those of you here and those of you joining us who joined us online this evening, all the devotees on Bhakti TV as well. Koti Koti Dhanyavad. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity, for allowing us to come into this beautiful ashram this evening to share and to sing the glories and to chant from the holy scriptures of Ramcharitamanas. I ask all of you, on your way home this evening, instead of discussing the traffic or the heat outside, discuss one thing that you have learned in tonight's kathaa. By the way, that ribbon that we connected to Devi earlier on, don't let it go, you keep that forever. Always keep that umbilical cord connected to the Divine Mother of the world. Devotees, our first love, our first doctor, our first friend, our first love, our best friend, always the Divine Mother, Adi Shakti Bhavani Shankar Ma. Prem se bolo Jagadambe Bhavani Shankar Mata ki Jai. Devotees, I believe you all have some announcements.
Devotees, Sita Ram, and a special and cordial welcome to each and every one of you. Panditji, thanks for gracing your presence, and thanks for your words of wisdom, and your first session, Ramayan Yagya. Please give a big round of applause. We thank our Shota for taking part in puja tonight. We thank Auntie Sally for providing food and prasad for all of us. We also thank all the singers and musicians for their talent and their performances. Please give them a big round of applause. Devotees, tomorrow night will be our second session by Pandit Neil Prasad, and we're inviting all of you to come out in large numbers. And tomorrow night we'll be also having a fundraiser by Panditji. Before we stand for Arati, we have a special guest with us tonight, the Secretary of the Shiva Mandir, and I'm going to call upon him to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Officiating Vyas, Pandit Neil Dev Prasad, our very vibrant Kirtan group, devotees, Sitaram, and blessings and Sitaram also for Shiva Mandir. Tonight, I feel so blessed and privileged to be here once again at Sudama Mandir, in this very holy place, where you and I have the opportunity to connect and to strengthen our relationship with our Lord. And this did not happen by mistake, devotees. Panditji said, this happened because of our karma, our good deeds. At this time, I would also like to thank and pay our gratitude and appreciation to the management committee of this mandir for their sacrifice, their commitment, and their hard work to maintain this mandir and to protect Dharma. At this time, Panditji, thank you very much. Nice to see you at Sudama Mandir. Glad to see you for the first time in person. You have certainly created a great opportunity of divine bliss tonight by a very informative and enlightening discourse taken from the Ramcharitmanas and speaking about the glories and strength of our blessed Lord Shri Ram and Mother Sita. May God bless you always with health and happiness, so that you will continue to share your words of wisdom from our holy text. Thank you, devotees, and Sitaram.
Devotees, we all stand for Arati.
Before we sing Arati, there is a Visarjan. Visarjan means the meeting. And I believe my parents are tuned in tonight all the way down Ramayan to be exact in Trinidad, amongst so many devotees. Many of you from Ramayan or Deve would know of the Pandit Ram Prasad Tiwari Ramayan group. This Visarjan, Panditji, my guru, gave to us as whenever we chant Ramayana, a very, very powerful prayer. And then we go right into Arati. We sing Kathaa Visarjan hot hai, suno veer Hanuman, Rama Lakshman Janaki, Sara karo kalyan. एक घड़ी यादो घड़ी आदो में पुनियान, तुलसी संघट सारी दे कटे कोटे अपराध। ओ जो जन जहाँ से आए हो, जो जन जहाँ से आए हो, सुनो मन अपने अपने ध्यान को बिना होत हर्षा, श्रोता सब आसंग शंभु गए कैलाश, रामायण मन हृदय महा
लक्ष्मण जानकी, ओ रामा लक्ष्मण जानकी, रामा लक्ष्मण जानकी, भरत शत्रुघ्न भाई, कथा विसर्जन होत है, ये कैसी शनवाई, नव्य घड़ी महायान की, जहाँ हो हरिनाम, लड़के कौन कलाइए, जड़ गई ये महाकाल। हरि ओम साजं जीवच संयुक्तं वहीनायोजितं मया, दीपं गृहाणदेवस्य त्रैलोक्यं तिमिरापाहम्। आरति श्री रामायण जी की, कीरति भले कलल प्रसियति। आरति श्री रामायण जी की, आरति श्री रामायण जी की, कीरति भले कलल प्रसियति। आवत ब्रह्मा दिख मुनि नारद, ज्ञान विचार, सुख सनिकादि शेष और शारद, हरि पवन सुख कीरत जी। आरति श्री रामायण जी की, कीरति कले कलल प्रसियति। चारहु वेद पुराण अष्टदश चहु शास्त्र, सब ग्रंथ तोड़, मन भर संतन को सर्वस, सारयंत सम्मत सबरी। आरति श्री रामायण जी की, आरति श्री रामायण जी की, कीरति कले कलल प्रसियति। मल हरणि विषय रस कीनी, सुरस गार भूति योगनी। हरणि रोग भामोरिया की, काट माट सब विधि तुलसी। आरति श्री रामायण जी की, कीरति भले कलल प्रसियति। कीरति भले कलल प्रसियति, कीरति भले कलल प्रसियति। We clasp our hands, bow our heads gently, and close our eyes and pray. Paramam pavitram bhavavibhutim, paramam vichitram leelavibhutim, परमात्मैकात् मोक्ष प्रदातं, भावाविभूतिम् इदमाश्रयामि। परमं पवित्रं भावाविभूतिम्, परमं विचित्रं लीलाविभूतिम्। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। अस्य तो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, प्रज्वलमा अमृतं गमय। From untruth, lead us on to truth, from darkness, lead us on to light, and from death, lead us on to eternity. Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu, samastaloka sukhino bhavantu, samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Gajananam saraswati shiva chaturbhujam namami om, शरण्यनं नमामि ते, करोतु जो भी कंचनं सदैव मंगलं गुरु। गया प्रयाग नैमिषारण्य सहस्रनी च मथुरा, हरिपुरिष्ट कौंसिले काशी दुर्गरस्थिता।
करोतु जो भी कंचनं सदैव मंगलं कुरु मेच्छ कुर्वामनं नृसिंहरूपराहरि व्यासश्च रामकृष्णयो कलंकि बोधवस्तुता करोति जो भी कंचनं सदैव मंगलं कुरु everyone शिव हरे शिव राम सखे प्रभु त्रिविधताप निवारण हे विभु अज जनेश्वर यादव पाहि मां शिव हरे विजय कुरु मे बलं प्रतिदिनं कुशलं जय मंगलं प्रतिदिनं कुशलं जय मंगलं प्रतिदिनं कुशलं जय मंगलम् ओम मंगलम भगवान विष्णु मंगलम गरुड़ध्वजः मंगलम पुंडरीकाक्ष मंगलाय तनोहरि ओम शांति 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 प्रेम से बोलो गजानन स्वामी की उमापति महादेव की पवन पुत्र हनुमान की सत्य सनातन धर्म की भवानी शंकर माता की सुदामा मंदिर की सुदामा मंदिर की सुदामा मंदिर की नमो पार्वते पतये हर हर महादेव जय जय सीताराम सबको आसन लीजिए may take your seats your prasad your aarti panchamrit will come to you and I do look forward to seeing you all tomorrow evening. We will start I believe at 6:30 and go all the way till 9:30 tomorrow. And of course on Sunday morning. If you have questions, if there's anything that you would like me to perhaps discuss, I know that we only have a limited amount of time, please feel to reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook at FL, like Florida, Pandit, P-A-N-D-I-T. Or you can, through Sally and others here at the Mandir, you can certainly reach out. And I look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow. Once again, remember, love all and serve all and have a beautiful rest of night. Jai Jai Sita Ram.